Okay, so basically Kojima has gone nuts that people in America are criticizing his game because apparently he thinks that people are doing so because he thinks that okay, just because the game is not a shooter, we are going to criticize it a lot. Seriously, uh, if people were actually criticizing our game because it doesn't have enough guns, it doesn't have enough shooting, it doesn't have enough enemies, it doesn't have enough things to kill, then yeah, your complaints about their reviews would make sense. But people were complaining that the game was just about walking, it didn't have anything else. It didn't have anything to make the walking better and more entertaining. Because usually, I mean, you could make a game so that the game was like a platform game, so that there was actually a bigger challenge to walking from place to place. But the Death Stranding doesn't have that sort of thing. It's just plain walking. Sometimes you have to balance yourself. Sometimes you have to hike here and there, use a ladder, something like that. But the game itself is pretty boring. The story doesn't make much sense, and the story itself actually takes a lot before it actually becomes interesting. So yeah, well, our criticisms, America's criticism for the game, are actually geared toward the game being boring. It doesn't have any much to actually make up for the bad and bland gameplay. I mean, I just wonder if these people, if actually Kojima actually read said reviews, because if he had, then he would have noticed that people were actually not criticizing the game for not being a shooter. I know America is a war country, basically. The USA is at war pretty much all the time, but that doesn't mean that pretty much everyone that was complaining about the game was doing so mostly because the game was not a shooter. It was not because of that. And yeah, basically, that tells me that Kojima really needs to stop feeling so good about himself, stop having such a big ego, even though he deserves it, because his games have had a huge success. All of his Metal Gear Solid games sold really well, but he can't actually just uh, ignore said bad reviews about his game just because we are supposedly not liking the game because the game doesn't have enough guns. It's just not how it goes. Yeah, he actually needs to take these reviews, which were actually very thoughtful, very in-depth reviews, and analyze them and figure out what he can take from them to make his games better. Because I'm pretty sure that Sony and that many other game companies will actually require his next games to have a bit more gameplay. Because if the next game is just about walking or doing something mundane like that, then I'm pretty sure that whatever his next game will be, if it's a Death Stranding sequel or not, then it might not have the same amount of funding that his latest game did.